So, welcome, Mr. Thomas Biskin, for the interview with Airpo Heaven Communication. We had already a German translation and a session in German, which we discussed about the transformation in terms of streaming technologies and the application on the different fields of usage and the different application where especially hospitals and other social utilities may have an use from that streaming technology. What would be your experience in that terms, or could you explain a little bit your background and where you're from and what kind of information you are belongings to streaming informations, and yes, can you explain a little bit from your point of view about this topic?
My name is Thomas Biesken. I'm coming from the medical field. I'm a plastic reconstructive and hand surgeon, working more than 20 years in my specialty. What we have seen in the last couple of months is that we are going more and more in a digital way, in a frame that we have to go in that direction because, first of all, the coronavirus shows us that we have to interfere right now and just open webinars or open technology systems like FaceTime or Zoom to stay in contact with our patients. And the other side is like interaction will be a good communication center for the future as well. So at the moment, you're starting a company especially for digital funerals to show that live streaming. I think that's a very impressive idea as well for the future because the interaction could be one of the main topics in the future because first of all our society gets older and older, so we have a shift to older people. We have also a shift to more international people, that families are spread out. They're working in international countries like in the States or in North America, South America. Families, it's hard to get together for funeral. And so I think digitalization will be one of the main topics for the next decades.
Right, thanks. Exactly, this is what we think as well, and we have already some cooperation with foreign partners, and we think that this idea is more coming up with a society change by years, and the need and the requirement that such kind of topic, which might come up due to the demographic deviation in our society more and more, and the new generation we see it as a common normal issue which we all have to deal with. What would you think about the advantages and the streaming usage of that technology, especially for hospitals? What kind of potential do you see in the use of it? If you reflect to the surgeries, if you reflect to midwives that they are having some courses inside of the hospitals, what kind of potentials would you see directly combined with that technology?
Mm. Yeah, good question. I think in hospitals it's very much in common that the interaction will be transmitted by video stream or radiology department since 20, 30 years already. But the important question will be how will it be in the future? In the medical field, they are thinking about to make an operation by the 3D scans or something else to participate as a surgeon when you're already integrated, or you live in Sydney, for example, a specialist heart surgeon, and you want to interact in an operation in New York. You can do that maybe in the future.
So you mean you can connect with your colleagues in New York or in Brisbane or
Right.
wherever they are, and you
Right.
can connect to the same situation
Right.
and get experts consultancies?
Yes, yes. And then maybe in the near future, the whole operation is done by technology, by laser technology or 3D robotic systems. It's already there, but the question is how you will use it and how a patient will adapt the system as well, or how will the hospital adapt the system. Because first of all, they are very expensive, and the second is, do you really trust these robotic systems? And trust is a main problem in our society. If it goes under the skin,
Yes,
so it's a
right, yeah.
it's a cutting moment. To be honest, a surgeon just always has the main important thing. What a surgeon has to have is trust. The patient has to feel the trust in a surgeon, and the same in a robotic unit.
So
Even more.
that's a good synonym for actually the proposition what we have in our company for the data integrity and the security of our data. Our server location is placed in Switzerland. What kind of experience you have with the quality of Switzerland since you are living since some few years already in Switzerland? So, what would you reflect at that topic regarding the data security, especially in hospital-related issues?
I lived and worked in many countries before, and now I decided to stay and work in Switzerland since a couple of years right now. And the Swiss quality, it's a very high standardized, and we have a very high standard here in Switzerland. So the security system in Switzerland, they are not European Union, they're not integrated in that system.
At least politically.
At least politically wise, and so that means they're autark. They're in a self-made unit, so in a black box. I would call it black box. So nobody can interfere in that black box, and instead of somebody is forcing Switzerland to open the black box. So that point of view makes the, I call it, security system quite high and outstanding in the world. Switzerland stands for security, stands for tradition, stands for power, cooperation,
and for quality.
Quality. That's a very high standard. And I see the same thing in hospitals. So compared to UK, United States or France, even Germany, we have a higher quality in our hospital systems, also in the technology.
So the technology system standards are in Switzerland higher than in other neighboring countries, would you think?
There are some countries, in average, yes. I'm talking about the average. Of course, there are some outstanding university hospitals in the States or in Germany. They have maybe a higher quality, maybe a higher technology because they have a little bit more money. But in average, when you calculate all hospitals together or the social-based insurance system in Switzerland,
that's a good point, yeah.
it's higher. It's a higher standard than in other countries like in the United States.
So I would sum up that the highest Switzerland standards and connected and combined with the streaming technologies and the use out of it would have an special USP or an unique selling proposition for companies who are based in Switzerland and in other countries?
Yes, indeed. So Swiss made, it's still a very high standard, not only in the watch production,
yes,
so,
exactly.
or chocolate. So
yeah.
it stands for security, it stands for technology, interaction, and
So thank you very much, Mr. Thomas Biskin, for the interview, and we're looking forward to cooperate with you in future again. And thanks for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.